Water at this point, and then it rained today even. It started hailing in the middle of the day in Falmouth. Somehow though, this field is in great condition. The sun's back out. It's nice and hot. It feels like summer for the first time this entire season long, so we got some baseball to play after a long awaited hiatus.
Orleans, Bourne, Hyannis, and Orleans. 4 games that were rained out this year and will be made up later this season. Danny, let's look at some of the new guys in the lineup because it's been a while since the Commodores have been out there, and the Pac-12 guys are starting tonight.
Yeah, they were able to come, and I remember the last time we were doing this in that Hyannis game that got shortened after the 4th inning and then suspended. They were here for that, but not all of them were activated. Well, now all of them are activated and they're in the lineup. Troy Claunch back in the lineup after having his first start ever as a Commodore shortened and then canceled because of the game that ended in the 4th against Hyannis. You got Tim Tawa from Stanford. He's activated in the lineup. He'll be playing third base. Kevin Kendall from UCLA, who had a fantastic season with the #1 Bruins. He's in the lineup. He'll be on the infield as well. So the lineup is really starting to come together. The Doors are one of the first teams that has almost everybody back, everybody in order that they have sent contracts out to here on the Cape. So it's going to be exciting to see what those guys can put up.
The infield getting a facelift tonight, as my partner mentioned. The only infielder who is someone who's been here all season is Hayden Cantrell, who's playing at second. We now toss to Katie Florio, who's with one of those new guys, Troy Claunch from Oregon State. Thanks a lot, Katie and Troy. Danny, let's look towards that last game the Commodores played. It was against the Gatemen, one of their best wins of the year.
Yeah, it was an exciting win. There's not a lot of wins to talk about because there's not a lot of games to talk about. It's only one of 3 wins, but like we said, an exciting one. They were trailing for most of the game. Hayden Cantrell comes up big with his 2nd home run of the year. It was a grand slam, and then all the rest was history. It was all cursory from that point on. An 8-5 victory for the Doors. Got them back in their winning ways after a 3-game losing streak. But now it's going to be interesting because they had, 5 or 6 days off since that Monday game. So we're going to see if they can pick up on that or whether both teams are going to be rusty.
And a little bit of a different story for the Wareham Gatemen, who did have a game to play on Tuesday against Katuitt and then one on Thursday as well. They got it in against Harwich. Danny, as we look towards the starting pitcher for the Commodores, it's Carmen Majinski getting his 2nd start.
Majinski looked fantastic his first time around. It was against Hyannis, who isn't one of the strongest offensive teams. We know Wareham is on the stronger side, but Majinski's stuff was lights out. He had 7 strikeouts through less than 5 innings pitched. His stuff was moving so well. His fastball had a lot of movement. That curveball backdoor just about every single time. He was hitting his spots, and he's a guy you got to watch out for from South Carolina. Didn't get to pitch a lot this season, so expect him to go pretty deep in games if he continues that.
The Commodores back out for the first time since Thursday, hoping to get their first final score since Monday. For Danny LaRose, I'm David Korzanowski. First pitch coming up next.
Good evening and welcome to Spillane Field, where finally the Falmouth Commodores are back in action for what they hope will be their first full game since Monday against these Wareham Gatemen. I'm David Korzanowski, joined alongside my broadcast partner, Danny LaRose. And Danny, it's been a long road coming, but Carmen Majinski starting out on the mound and a new team here for the Commodores on Saturday night.
Yeah, dude, finally they're playing. I mean, come on. You got to think that these clouds got to let up at some point. They finally did today. It was continued to rain in Falmouth. Rained a little bit here in Wareham. They got the fields ready. All power to the field crew from the Wareham Gatemen. And now this beautiful gray diamond is back in action. And the Commodores are back in action as well. I like how you bring up the lineup because I keep looking at it and I think, oh, that's the wrong lineup. Nope, that's the Commodores lineup, evidently. I'm thinking, who are these guys? Got a whole bunch of new faces. Troy Claunch in the lineup for hopefully his first full game. He was only able to play 4 innings the other day before that game got canceled in Hyannis. Looking at Zach Deloach, who was a recent addition, who's now really only played 2 or 3 ball games because of all the rainouts. Tim Tawa getting his first start. Kevin Kendall getting his first chance. So a lot of new names, a lot of new faces for the Doors. And it's pretty much a brand new ball club, like you said.
Top of the order, pretty similar for the Commodores. Hayden Cantrell leading off and playing second base. Austin Langworthy in the 2 spot playing left field. Trey Cruz moves down to the 3 spot and will be designated hitting tonight. Jackson Coots cleanup and playing first, followed by Troy Clonch, who is catching, batting 5th. Tim Tawa, as you mentioned, third baseman from Stanford, did a little bit of designated hitting out in Palo Alto, playing 3rd and batting 6th. Zach Deloach, right field, batting 7th. Blake Dunn, center field, batting 8th. And Kevin Kendall, the UCLA Bruin, will play middle infield, so he's taken away a spot from Trey Cruz, at least defensively, as Danny would take a look at the starting pitcher for the Wareham Gatemen in Landon Roop.
Yeah, Landon Roop out of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, originally from Rocky Mount. He's pretty tall, stands at 6'3", only 175, but definitely got some velocity in that big frame. This past year, 22 appearances for UNCW, 12 games started. He went 6-3 with a 3.47 ERA. Not bad numbers at all, including 91 strikeouts over his 22 appearances. So again, not bad at all when you're nearing on 100 strikeouts and just over 20 innings pitched. He was also an all-rookie team in the conference back when he was a freshman, a year where he had another sub-4 ERA at 3.58. Very much a solid pitcher down at UNC.
Landon Roop has pitched once on the Cape this summer. It was a week ago today. 2 innings of relief against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. He gave up only 1 earned run on 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 3. This is his first start in a Gatemen uniform as we get ready for first pitch. The Commodores sit at 3-3-1, third in the West Division. Wareham Gatemen at first place, but that's partially because they have 2 games at hand, Danny, at 5-3-1.
Yeah, again, the Commodores are the only team on the Cape, maybe Bourne. Bourne and Falmouth are the only 2 teams who haven't been able to play pretty much since the start of the week. We're at the last day of the week. Falmouth played on Monday. Wareham was able to get sandwich in a couple more games, and in Falmouth's game against Hyannis on, Thursday. They were the only game to get canceled halfway through. Wareham's ended up getting canceled halfway through, but they got to the 6th inning, so that game was final. Wareham lost. Meanwhile, Falmouth was only in the 4th inning against the Harbor Hawks, so their game, because of the fog, because of the rain, gets completely washed away. That's why they have 2 more games in hand compared to the Gatemen, who got off to such a great start at 4-1 and have started to fall into some trouble, into some murky waters as the water has been falling from the sky. As the rain has picked up, Wareham has gotten a little bit worse.
Wareham Gatemen and the Falmouth Commodores have squared off once before. It was on Monday, and the Commodores won matchup number 1 of 6 in the regular season by a score of 8-5 at Gov Fuller Field. After tonight's game, fingers crossed that we get it in, which we should. No rain in the forecast. Falmouth will have 1 more game played than Bourne, who was rained out again tonight, Danny.
Tough. I would hate it.
Bourne has not played since Monday. Here's the first pitch to Hayden Cantrell at the knees for a strike. Your umpires tonight, Don Klump behind the plate, Dan Henry at first base. Mike Rabideau close to us as the third base umpire. Roop, the big righty, delivers. Ball 1 outside. Some rolling clouds back past center field, but above us, scattered clouds as this one is chopped over towards second base. Darren Baker loses the ball, and Hayden Cantrell reaches on a leadoff error from the second baseman.
I wonder where that gave Baker trouble. He was on the back of the infield. It was straight dirt in front of him, and all of a sudden the ball hit his mitt and skipped up over his right shoulder. I don't know where it could have taken a funky bounce or whether he was just a little bit delayed in his reaction time, didn't close his glove in time. Hayden will take it. He's on base, and now he can cause some trouble.
Leadoff runner on for the Commodores, and a quick error for the Gatemen. Darren Baker, the traditional second baseman for Wareham. Ball 1 settles in at the shins of Austin Langworthy. Gatemen wearing their home whites with the red lettering and the navy blue caps with that red W.
Is it better than their road unis?
I think so. Curveball breaks a little bit too soon, 2-0. Commodores wearing their traditional road uniforms, gray pants, black jerseys, and maroon lettering. Sun beginning to set here at Spillane Field. Hayden Cantrell slides back into first as Roop checks on him. Defensive alignment for the Gatemen, and Tico, Ward, and Ruddick out in the outfield. Infield from left to right, Dallas Beaver, Matt McLean, Darren Baker, Jacob Teeter. Cameron Guangarena doing the catching for the boys in white. Ball 3 misses up, and Austin Langworthy's got a hitter's count with a runner on first. Roop looks into Guangarena, settles in the stretch. Righty-lefty matchup. Ball 4 inside, a 4-pitch walk. Puts runners on first and second here in the top of the first inning.
Something Austin Langworthy does pretty well is walk, and he doesn't have to sweat too much on that one. Takes 4 pitches. Now Roop already into trouble. We mentioned how he's a pretty controlled pitcher. He's got a lot of strikeouts, has a low ERA traditionally at school. Well, he's already into a jam, partially because of his own doing.
Couple mistakes for the Gatemen early. Commodores will try to capitalize with the meat of the order coming up. Trey Cruz, who traditionally bats second for Jeff Trundy's squad, moves down to the 3 spot and is designated hitting today, as Hayden Cantrell is playing second and Kevin Kendall will be at short. Cruz, the switch hitting player from Rice University, as Roop comes off the mound and checks back towards second.
Cruz deserves to be in the 3-hole. He has been so awesome as of late. Of course, against Wareham a game ago, 4 for 4, 2 RBIs. He's also 7 for his last 14.
Fastball strike to Trey Cruz. Batting .364 on the summer, 2 RBIs and 1 extra base hit. It was a double against Wareham. Cantrell and Cruz combined 8 for 9 against the Gatemen on Monday with 6 RBIs, 4 of those from a Hayden Cantrell grand slam. Another fastball chopped back towards the screen, 0-2. Trey Cruz, his previous good performance before the game against Wareham was against Bourne, a 10-2 loss. He was one of a few bright spots for the Commodores, went 2 for 4 with a run scored. Roop, 2 men on and 1 out. This one, nobody out, excuse me. This one popped in the infield, and Matt McLean makes the catch for the first out.
So not much doing from the 3-hole for Trey Cruz this time around. He doesn't have the magic that he did against Wareham in last game. Has an early opportunity, but only takes 3 pitches to retire him. But now comes up Jackson Coots, who has been a surprising, really dominant force in this lineup, and he's been a guy who's stuck around despite being on a temporary contract because of the fact that he's been hitting.
Jackson Coots, 3 for 8 on the summer, batting cleanup tonight. Can't catch up with that fastball, swings through at 0-1. Temporary player, plays his ball with the Rams of the University of Rhode Island, playing first base tonight. He was 1 for 4 with a run scored on Monday. Hayden Cantrell dances off second base to try to distract Roop, but a fastball at the knees for strike 2. Stands filling in nicely here behind home plate. There was a couple Little League teams who were honored before the game, got to say play ball. Roop will check on Cantrell again. Commodores with 11 stolen bases this summer in only 7 games. That's still second on the Cape League, despite not playing as many games as some other teams. Here's the 0-2 to Coots. He wags at it and gets a piece. The count stays the same.
Well, helps when you attempt, 7 stolen bases in opening day, I think
True.
it was. They were 6 for 7 or something like that against Harwich on June 10th, and I think that's more stolen bases that they'll attempt in a single game than they would in an entire week.
Jackson Coots, the rising junior at URI, batted .259 last year with an 0-2 count. Changeup just gets the head of the bat on it and stays alive. 0-2.
Part of the reason why he's been so successful at the plate is he's been staying alive and forcing mistakes. I've seen that time and time again from Jackson. When he's got 2 strikes against him, usually wastes away a couple of pitches. And when you do that, you force the pitcher to throw something over the plate more often than not.
The 0-2 is upstairs. Coots didn't even think about swinging at that high off speed. Coots, a 2018 Wareham Gateman, had a brief stint here at Spillane Field at the end of last summer. Again, the Gatemen went on to win the 2018 CCBL Championship. Curveball doesn't break in time, and now a 2-2 count.
Yeah, he didn't get the most playing time, but he earned himself a ring, so
We'll take it.
not bad at all.
I wonder if that bodes well for the Commodores with him on the lineup this year.
Just bring him back at the end.
Right, exactly. From Arano, Maine, here's the 2-2. Fastball. And it was fouled. Excuse me, it was not fouled.
Really?
says home plate umpire Don Klump. Thought it might have been because Guangarena had trouble squeezing it, but Coots heads back to the dugout, 2 down.
Yeah, he juggled with it a couple of times, so I figured it had to have been foul tipped out of the glove, or else Guangarena just wasn't expecting a fastball maybe. But hey, Klump made the call, and Coots didn't really argue it.
Claunch with his first official at-bat of the summer. He got a couple against Hyannis, but again, that game called in the 4th inning. Takes strike 1 down the pipe. He was up with, I believe it was 2 outs and the bases loaded. Grounded out to shortstop to end the inning. But again, all of those stats from Thursday night's game are null and void, including Zach DeLoach's RBI double. Here's the 0-1. He watches it again. 0-2.
We did confirm with him that it was tweeted. There's video record of it. It did happen.
Right. Just not according to the CCBL.
No.
You can still show the family back home, right? 0-2, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Pitch out, Hayden Cantrell slides into third. Runners go in safely after the throw down to Dallas Beaver at third base. And I did not have my eyes on the runners. Were they going on the pitch there?
Yes, they were. It was an outside fastball. I think they were expecting breaking ball. Maybe it would have been, closer.
2 runners in scoring position for Claunch. Pitch misses low, and now a 2-2 count. Hayden Cantrell reached on an error by Darren Baker. Austin Langworthy was walked on 4 pitches. Cruz flied out, and Coots struck out. 2-2, 2 outs. Off speed, the Claunch lifts into shallow center field. Cantrell will jog home. Austin Langworthy will round third and tap home plate. And it's a 2 RBI single for Troy Claunch. Doors up 2-0.
Hey, you don't always have to annihilate the baseball to get the job done. Claunch decides he's going to lift the bat out at a middle-high pitch and pokes it into center field. A little bit of a bloop shot that was falling fast, just barely grazes the outfield grass on its initial descent, and it gets the job done. Like I said, scores 2 runs with those 2 guys in scoring position. Goes to show how important that stolen base was on the 0-2 pitch.
Here's another new guy, Tim Tawa, who watches a fastball low about ankle high. Tawa, a rising sophomore at Stanford University, junior, from West Lynn, Oregon. Batted .253 this past year, 8 home runs, 10 doubles. Moves out of the way of an inside fastball, and he's got a hitter's count at 2-0. Last summer played in the NECBL. Year before that, in 2018, was a freshman All-American. Roop has given up 2 runs here in the first, trying to avoid a third. Delivers a knee-high fastball for strike 1.
So Tim was pretty much the superstar when it came to sports in the state of Oregon. He was a 2-time Oregon State Football Player of the Year, 3-time Oregon Gatorade Football Player of the Year. Wonder if he got any D1 football scholarships.
2-1 is cracked into center field. Same spot that Claunch put it, and it moves Claunch to second base, Tawa to first. Still 2 on now and 2 outs with a 2-0 lead for the Doors.
Well, welcome to the Cape Cod Baseball League,
Yeah.
Troy Claunch and Tim Tawa. Technically, Claunch had 2 at-bats that game ago. He didn't get any hits, and this time around, he's batting 1,000.
1 for 1. Yeah,
So, you know what? The rain is good for his stat line. And meanwhile, Tim Tawa, who was not activated on that Thursday afternoon, he really clobbered that baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a high fastball, and he took it right back where it came from. So he looks like he's taken no time to adjust to the wood bats. He's looking just fine.
Roop has looked a little shaky here in the first inning as the 7th batter in Zach DeLoach comes to the plate. He takes a strike at the knees. And DeLoach is a guy who, again, that rain out on Thursday didn't help his stats because he hit the ball very well against Hyannis, including an RBI double to right center field. But he is 0 for 5 on the summer from Texas A&M. Watches a fastball low, 1-1.
Well, I know we mentioned, I think it was in the Harwich doubleheader. No, in the Wareham game. It was in the Wareham game where he got out a couple of times, but he was swinging a good bat. And it really looked like he was starting to come together, and it was only a matter of time.
The 1-1, fastball outside. Zach DeLoach came to the Cape a little less than a week ago. Played his first couple games against Harwich on Father's Day. Troy Claunch on second, Tim Tawa on first. The Doors have scored 2. There's a ball high and outside and a 3-1 count to DeLoach. And Danny, because of that performance that he's had, he moved up from the 9 spot to the 7 spot tonight.
Yeah, you know what? You don't always have to have the results in order to show your coach that you're doing well. I think he sees it in BP.
The 3-1. Strike 2 and a full count. Landon Roop, 3.47 ERA. His sophomore year, 3.58 the year before that. He's given up 2 runs here in the first inning. 3-2, 2 outs, ball 4. Squeaks out between the legs of Guang Garena, but no matter. And now the bases are juiced for Blake Dunn.
Yeah, the walks won't help. He's already got a struggling ERA comparatively to what he does in his school seasons, and 2 walks in the first inning aren't going to help at all. Already, 1 has come to beat him with Langworthy coming around from first to score on the Troy Claunch single.
Roop has already fired 32 pitches here in the first inning, 17 strikes, 15 balls. Blake Dunn hitting 176, watches first pitch ball high, 1-0. For a second, it looked like Roop might have gotten out of this inning unscathed after he got a couple outs after a couple base runners. This one gets over the glove of Dallas Beaver at third. Tapping home is Claunch and Tawa. Deloach moves into third. Dunn moves into second. It was a high chopping ground ball that scored 2 more, and the Doors are in the driver's seat. It's 4-0.
Well, it goes down as a double in the scorebook when in reality he takes a swing and it immediately went into the dirt about 2 feet in front of home plate. But you know what? He was strong enough to basically spank the ball into the dirt, get a high enough bounce up and over Beaver at third base. He would have had to have been 8 feet tall in order to reel that one in. He put a good effort in, but no matter. Blake Dunn, just, I don't know if that was strength or if that was luck, but somehow he is able to put the ball on a trampoline, evidently, and get it to bounce all the way over the third baseman's head.
Dallas Beaver, a recent addition since these 2 teams played last. He goes to UCF and is playing third base. And I think when that ball first hit the ground, he took a step, maybe a step and a half in.
As you would when
Right.
you see the ball hit the ground.
And then by the time he realized how high it was bouncing, he tried to backtrack and jump, but it went over his glove and into left field. So the Doors have scored 4. And it's going to be an early call to the bullpen, I believe, by Jerry Weinstein.
Yeah, tough. Already 1 inning pitched for Roop and 1 run allowed. Now, in 2/3 of an innings pitched, 4 runs allowed, 3 of them earned. Of course, the Cantrell one won't be earned due to the error, but 3 of them earned in 2/3 of an inning. So really tough start to his summer. And like you said, early exit with this bevy of arms that you're going to have on the Cape, especially at this point in the season. Going to go to a guy already to try to lock things down for the long term.
So with the Doors up 4-0, and the Commodores scoring 4 runs on 3 hits, they will go to Eric Torres from Kansas State, a rising sophomore with the Wildcats. Had a 3.99 ERA and a 1-1 record during his freshman year. Pretty good pitcher.
Yeah, not bad. 18 appearances. Hasn't started any games, so I wonder if this is just to get out of the inning or if it's going to be for an extended period of time for 2, 3, 4 innings, because no game started, like I said. 29 1/3 innings pitched on the season over those 18 appearances. A sub-4 ERA, just barely at 3.99. 38 strikeouts, however. That's well above a strikeout per inning rate. And not a lot of walks, only at 15. So another control pitcher, and we'll see if that doesn't hurt him because, hey, Roop was a control pitcher, and he got hit around pretty well. Already 3 hits on the inning for the Doors against Roop, so now it's going to be up to Torres to try to settle down those bats.
And Torres has been great so far this summer, Danny. 3 2/3 innings pitched. Granted, not a huge sample size, but has yet to give up an earned run. Has yet to give up a run in general. He's had 3 appearances, 1 inning against Chatham, 2/3 of an inning against Orleans. And he got the win with 2 innings of relief work against the Whitecaps in the opener on June 10th. So he'll come in for his 4th appearance in a jam. Runners on 2nd and 3rd for the Commodores, who are looking to add more. And Danny, they've scored all their runs with 2 outs.
And they've already batted around, too. This is
Yeah.
going to be the 9th hitter of the inning. Like you said, 2 outs. It looked like things were going to slow down when Cruz and Coots both got out pretty easily. But, hey, this middle of the lineup has really been bolstered with some of these new arrivals, Claunch, Tawa, and Deloach, all 3 of them coming up big.
Kevin Kendall, another newcomer, takes a first pitch ball. Kendall batted .258 with the UCLA Bruins, who are ranked number 1 in the country for 12 weeks this season. Playing shortstop tonight and batting 9th. He's got Deloach on 3rd, Blake Dunn on 2nd. It's a strike right down the middle, 1-1. Danny, a couple two-strike hits as well, with Claunch working a 2-2 count. And if he got out, this inning ends and it's still scoreless. Doors have done well with their backs against the wall. The 1-1 at the knees, strike 2.
And who thought we would be saying that, a week ago,
Right.
when the Falmouth Commodores were leading the league in strikeouts, and just as a team they were striking out at a fervent pace. But now with 2 strikes, like you said, the hitting has been a lot better.
The 1-2 with 2 outs, off speed, that Kendall gets a piece of to stay alive. Kevin Kendall from California, grew up in La Mirada, went to La Mirada High School. Number 50 prospect from the state of California coming out of high school by perfect game. This one chopped down the first base line right towards first base coach Ryan Eiley, who gets applause from the fans.
Yeah, nice play, especially with no glove. Got to have soft hands for that.
Clouds slowly rolling towards us.
Oh,
No
boy.
rain in the forecast, but it's ominous looking out towards center
Those
field.
look dark. Oh, man.
We don't have a tent today. We had one at Hyannis. The 1-2. Chopped back. Count stays the same.
Well, we have a tent, but it'd be kind of a hassle setting it up in this cage they put us in. You want to
Yeah,
describe
I don't know
the?
if we can do it with 2 strikes and 2 outs. We'll put a pin in that and come back to it later. But the setup for the away broadcasters is interesting.
It's unique.
To say the least here at Wareham. The 1-2. Fouled back again, and a good first AB from Kevin Kendall to start his summer.
Yeah, there's that 2-strike approach you were talking about. It's not just hits that help you out with 2 strikes. It's fouling a lot of pitches off and forcing a lot of pitches. Jackson Coots was able to do it. Didn't get the result that he wanted, but you still got to see a lot of pitches from Raup. And now Kendall's doing the same thing, hoping to force another mistake.
The 1-2 misses low. And if there's something we've seen so far from Torres, who has yet to issue a free pass on the summer compared to his 5 strikeouts, it's that he does have great control now. 8 pitches, 6 of them strikes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Roop the lefty, pitching from the stretch. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. Here's the 2-2, low. Full count.
Well, there you go. Kevin Kendall fights a couple off, then he watches 2 pitches way in the dirt, so he's worked a full count. Now if he can get on base, load up the bases for Hayden Cantrell, uh-oh.
10th pitch of the AB coming up. Torres, with his glove perched on his right breast, looks into Guangarena, settles in the stretch, takes a deep breath and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Looks like a changeup that died in the dirt. Kevin Kendall had to protect. He swung and missed, but the Commodores pile on here in the first inning. They score 4 runs on 3 hits and 1 error and leave 2 on base. We head to the home half of the first inning. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school.
Bottom of the first inning. Carmen Majinski comes out for his second start. South Carolina Gamecock wearing A long sleeve garnet shirt under his black uniform fires a first pitch strike to the leadoff man, Braden Ward. Braden Ward batting .412 so far this summer. He'll be followed by Darren Baker and Dallas Beaver here in the bottom of the first. Majinski's got some absolute speed, but connecting with that fastball and putting it into the opposite field is Braden Ward. He's on with the leadoff single.
Yeah, not a bad hit at all. That's exactly what you want to do with a fast pitch on the outside corner as he takes it right back where it came from. That just shows quick hands from Braden Ward, and good for a leadoff hitter getting himself on base right off the bat, especially with your team trailing. Yeah, there's lightning out to center.
3 umpires are going to have a conference. These clouds are looking dark in center field.
I saw lightning just on that previous pitch.
And I heard it's a couple miles away from our team trainer, Carmen Majinski, who has some sun on him in the pitcher's mound, is now meeting with Troy Clonchin. And I can't believe this, Danny. It's just, we can't catch a break.
Dude.
We cannot catch a break.
Are we in Oregon or something? Why is it raining so much?
It has
asinine.
rained about every day. I mean, it has rained every day. I think the only day it didn't rain where the Commodores still didn't play was Tuesday. It was sunny all day, just bad field conditions at Bourne. We're going to have Jerry Weinstein and Jeff Trundy come out and talk to the 3 umpires in Don Klump, Dan Henry, and Mike Rabideau as these clouds are approaching quickly, and I just saw a big strike out in center field. There are some tall metal light poles here at Wareham, and we had a rain out here last year, Danny.
Yeah, we were about, we're third or the 4th inning. TJ Sycamore was having himself a day. He didn't allow a hit, I don't think. Or he started to get into some trouble as the rain started pouring. It was an onslaught. Great video on Twitter of us underneath the umbrellas at the table trying to avoid the rain. That was washed away. They had to completely cancel the game because it didn't go a full 5. Same thing's going to happen here if this continues, because this just, oh my goodness, dude. I cannot believe this.
Carmen Majinski throws the ball down on the mound as the umpires have paused the game. Mike Rabideau, Dan Henry, Don Klump, it's not their fault. It's not any of the manager's faults. It's not any of the players' faults. It's some grimaces from these players who are leaving the field after we thought we would get a full game in. We now have fans running for the exits. We're packing up.
We'll set up our tent so that our stuff doesn't get destroyed, and we'll go into some rain delay coverage for now.
We will indeed. Follow us on social media at Falmouth Commodores on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to go scream at a wall for about 15 minutes because we cannot get any breaks here on the Cape. For Danny LaRose, I'm David Korzanowski. Stay tuned as we